Blank here, and welcome back to another instalment of the Skulls General Reviews month event, in which today I am going to be reviewing the Target novelisation. I begin this review by taking a look at the cover art. As for editions I have for this book, I only have the hardback as of now, but hopefully I will be getting the paperback version of it sometime soon. I'm not quite sure when that will be, because I do have this crazy goal of trying to get as many versions of the Target books as possible. That'll take up a lot of money. Anyways, I'm getting distracted already. So for the cover art itself, we have Doctor Who, the Massacre, John Lucerotti, and for the cover art itself, we have this sort of light blue sky, which is sort of fading into white just above these houses. And for these houses, we have and then they have 16th century French houses with all sorts of characters on the balconies and all sorts of characters and whatnot in the background. And then for the foreground, we have the Doctor in monk's robes holding on to something, and with him in the back, and just behind him is the TARDIS in this sort of massive bonfire. This cover sort of doesn't really make sense in my opinion. It could have been a bit better done, I would say. It's got some nice perspective to it, such as all of box on the TARDIS not being fully in view, but to me the TARDIS here just looks like it's behind the bonfire, whereas it should have actually been on the fire itself. It's still got some great attention to detail to it, such as the houses and this sort of burnt, smoky effect to the TARDIS windows, but could have been a bit better done. But I still personally really like this Target novelisation cover. And then for the spine, we have Doctor Who, the Massacre in red, John Lucerotti, W.H. Allen. Then for the back, we have the blurb, who this book was distributed by, its original price, which was £7.50.net, some sort of second-hand bookstore sticker, and then the barcode. For the blurb itself, the TARDIS lands in Paris on 19th of August 1572. Driven by scientific curiosity, the Doctor leaves Stephen to meet and exchange views with the apothecary Charles Preslin. Before he disappears, he warns Stephen to stay out of mischief, religion and politics, but in 16th century Paris it is impossible to remain a mere observer, as Stephen soon finds himself involved with a group of Huguenots. The Protestant minority of France is being threatened by the Catholic hierarchy, and danger stalks the Paris streets. As Stephen tries to find his way back to the TARDIS, he discovers that one of the main persecutors of the Huguenots appears to be the Doctor. And then for the innards of this Doctor Who book, we have, here it was supposed to be sort of a author's note on the book, but that page has unfortunately been stuck to the board of this hardback. By the way, it has been glued, it looks like a factory error, which is kind of very amusing in my opinion, or it is very amusing in my opinion. Then we have Doctor Who, the Massacre, based on the BBC television series by John Lucerotti, by arrangement with the British Broadcasting Corporation, John Lucerotti, W.H. Allen, London 1987. Then there we've got various library and copyright goof, and then we've got a dramatis personnel, basically the sort of an interesting sort of cast sort of list for the book, and sort of gives it the effects of an old Shakespeare play or something like that, which is quite nice. And then we have the contents. It is a 144 page long Doctor Who book spread across a prologue, an epilogue and 17 chapters. And then for the back we just have nothing, just the end of the book there. Now what is the general consensus and my own personal thoughts and opinions on the target novelisation of The Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve by John Lucarotti. As for the general consensus on this book, this is a fairly well-liked target novelisation, with an average rating of 3.44 stars and lots of 3-star and a few 4-star reviews on Goodreads. Personally, I am not massively impressed by this target. I think this is a target novelisation that may have possibly suffered because the original source material is lacking, but I haven't seen the TV version in a while, so that may not really be saying anything. This is a generally enjoyable historical romp with very little substance. Little happens in this book overall, and what happens in the book overall can just be summed up in one sentence. To me, this is just a near plotless, pure historical set in 16th century France. One interesting difference from this and the TV story that I will point out is that the Doctor and the Abbot of Amboise actually meet in this book, which to me was an interesting premise for a scene, but I personally was invested very much overall. Main reason for this is because the characters and characterization overall in this book are extremely unremarkable. Imagine if a park was full of 20 or so marble blocks and a sculptor was due to come along and add the details, but the sculptor never came along. Yeah, that's what the characters feel like to me for this in this book overall. Other than that being my biggest gripe with the book, it's unfortunate to say that I found the finale pretty lacking. What was a powerful event in the final episode of the TV version of this story here is just disappointing. I feel that John Lucarotti could have gone for another 20 or so pages, carefully layering and building up the finale to make it more powerful as it was on the TV version of this story. And as if all of that wasn't bad enough, the main story itself is told through the 17 chapters. It's actually told as a flashback through the prologue and the epilogue, which is such a weird decision in my opinion. And if you actually read this actual target, it's even weirder what kind of makes it a flashback. You just have to read the book to see what I actually mean by that, but it's just weird how this is told through a prologue and an epilogue flashback, and the way it is and how it's told. Overall, I found this to be an extremely unremarkable target novelisation overall. I personally enjoyed it, but I still found it to be an extremely bland and uneventful read. Kind of like eating shredded wheat, if you want to put it like that. I would overall rate the target novelisation of The Massacre of St. Bartholomew's Eve a 5 out of 10. So like, favorite, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Pitch Go Black, dematerialising.